Felix Okpara is 21 years old and stands almost 7 feet tall. Tennessee basketball fans know the name and the talents of number 34.
But it's not just his name and his play on the court that's memorable. His story crosses oceans and borders. It's packed with perseverance, bravery, and love. And one couple in East Tennessee plays a major chapter in his journey.
Tonight, we turn to 10 News anchor Shay Smith with the story of Felix and his family.
Before the crowds, the lights, and the jerseys, 14-year-old Felix Okpara said goodbye to his family at the airport in Lagos, Nigeria.
It felt surreal, I remember my parents driving me to the airport, had my siblings with me, and at first it felt, I thought I was dreaming.
Meanwhile, a Chattanooga family prayed and prepared to welcome another child into their home.
I always had a heart for kids and just kind of felt what we were, just kind of felt like God led us to do that.
In August of 2018, Felix stepped off of a plane in Atlanta, then walked through the front door of his new home with the Levitts in Chattanooga.
Like I said, it was scary because, growing up, I was a really shy kid and quiet. And, it was hard for me to get used to people.
Felix began his freshman year of high school at Hamilton Heights, sparking his basketball journey.
I didn't know anything about basketball till the same year, 2018. I never played basketball in my life, never watched a basketball game or nothing.
Felix was brought to the States from Nigeria for the sport.
It was more of, I was tall for my age, and they saw like I got more, I got a lot of growth left in me. For my family, it was more of getting a good education and just trying to, get a better future.
But the path towards a better future wasn't always easy.
I wasn't getting better. I just wanted to go home and talk to my parents, but I couldn't do it.
But slowly, Felix gained another family.
I always wanted him to feel welcome and not feel like he was a stranger or just a visitor in our house.
After just playing basketball outside a bunch, I would just go down and ask him if he wanted to go play basketball, and after a couple weeks, we just started really getting close.
About a year later, in 2019, Felix's brother David was brought to the United States for the same reason.
That was the goal, to find a family that was, accommodating as the Levitts were. And that's pretty much what our parents were told and all that kind of stuff. But the path was totally different. They had us doing whatever they needed help with. It was football, baseball, clean up the school, think of like whoever was, at the school and stuff like that.
David says his school and facility was not what his family in Nigeria was promised. He also had little communication with Felix or his parents.
Even the times when I would ask for permission to go see my brother or go to vacation with them, it was always like a grumpy yes. It wasn't like oh yeah, you go do that. It was always like, why do you want to do that? What's your plan? And even after saying yes, there's like rules, like you know what you're supposed to talk about, you know what you're not supposed to, stuff like that.
In June of 2020, David was allowed to go on vacation with the Levitts and Felix. The Levitts decided David should move in with them, but the handlers who brought the teens over denied that request. Months later, the Levitts got a call from the middlemen. Despite Felix's success, they were on their way to pick him up and take him to Atlanta and away from the Levitts.
We called his parents in the middle of the night, and they were like, we didn't issue this. Felix, at that point, came to us one night and said, I don't want to leave this house.
With the blessing of their family in Nigeria, the couple decided to adopt Felix and David.
One night, we got a call from his mom, and she was like, listen, protect my boys, pretty much, whatever you have to do. And so Adam got in the car, drove to Atlanta, called David when he was pulling in.
The Levitts faced pushback from the handlers, but continued to protect the two. On January 4th, 2021, a few days before David turned 18, the Levitts officially adopted the brothers, turning the family of 5 into a family of 7. Then 8, when Kennedy Okpara came to the United States in August, and they adopted him in September. The Levitts, who he once called a host family, now just his family.
It is good. It's, like I said, it's better having two of everything. Just having two pairs of parents.
Shay Smith with their story. All three young men you saw there played or still play college ball. David graduated from Cedarville University. Felix dreams of going from Tennessee into the NBA. And Kennedy plays basketball at Lipscomb University.
The Okparas and Levitts stay in regular communication with their parents back home in Nigeria. Felix says he plans to go back home for the first time since he left sometime this year.